Live stream. Recently I made a video about Australians. Are you struggling in the garden? And obviously many of us are, from this crazy weather, especially on the east coast around northern New South Wales, right down to Sydney and up into sort of the middle of Queensland. And look, let's not talk even about far north Queensland. That's a whole other story with what's been going on up there, right? The humidity has been reaching around about 91%. It's just been absolutely bonkers. But how's the humidity around the cost of living? Now, I'm feeling pretty hot and steamy and sweaty and anxious about all that, especially when I see my bills coming in and I see the cost of fuel rising up and I see the cost of fertilizers going up, and I look and I was complaining about an $8 a kilo capsicum a few months ago, and I look and they're $10 now. I'm just like, wow. I go in, I grab this, I grab that from the shopping center, and I'm really careful about what I buy. I walk out with a very small amount and it's still well over $100, no problem, just for 2.5 bags of shopping. Now, I'm gardening here and growing food here at my place so I can save and get a lot more fresh food on my plate. And I really look at it as a form of survival gardening now, not so much where the catastrophic problems of the world are going to engulf around me, and who knows, they may do in the future, but just saving on my hip pocket and being able to get out into the garden for my mental health as well and be involved with this amazing community here. So I thought I'd bring out this live stream for you guys and talk about what maybe you're doing, what I'm doing, what's the world doing, how do we feel about it, are there any answers, are there solutions to the problems? There's always solutions, and I've only got one brain here, obviously, and it's not always ticking. So the community, guys, you guys are here to help and drive this conversation. What can we do to bring down our cost of living? Obviously there are certain things like keep our electricity down, maybe add some solar, grow some snake beans, grow some peas, grow some potatoes for calories, the sweet and the normal spuds. As we know in the history, going way back in Ireland, it was the potato, not, I was going to say sweet potato, it was the potato that stopped them from starving. But that's a whole different element. Today what we're looking at is a world of catastrophe all around us, and one thing we can control is the food that we grow at home, whether we have a little space or a nice big backyard, what I've got. So anyway, I'll see you inside. It's going to be a cool conversation, and I didn't have the video come out today for the grow table yet because my camera broke down while I was filming. I shot for about an hour. There's mad hissing going all through it. So, the life of a YouTuber. Anyway, we'll see you on the inside. We're going to go in and have this conversation here and talk about how we all can get together and talk about the cost of living and bring things down for the best of us. Well, for the better of us. Anyway, I'll just see you inside. Oh, hang on, I nearly double played that. There we go. Still learning how to use this stuff. I recorded that this morning and working on ways I can interact more from like an outside experience and bring it inside without having to have a full-on team and everything running to run these live shows. And, you know, today we're talking about, are we in survival mode, cost of living, and I don't know about you guys. Well, I'm pretty sure about you guys. It's hurting everyone's hip pocket around the globe. And how do we find ways to get around that is really the conversation today that I want to talk about here in the chat. We've got 10 people turned up at the moment for the live show. We let it know about 2 hours in advance. So if YouTube's hopefully spreading it out a little bit, but what I find is people start rolling in as the show sort of progresses onwards, and then a few come in, a few disappear. But we're going to talk about groceries and starting an edible garden. And I'd love to know what any of your tips and tricks, pointers, things like that along the line of what may help you and if I can help you in any way. Now, on this channel, we obviously have been talking about gardening for years and years. There's so much on here about that, and also worm farming to help you really save some money. If you're going to go down that DIY line, that's a bit trickier with worm farming at the start because worms escape and you don't have right water flow and airflow and things like that. So generally, I recommend starting off with one of the plastic tiered farms. If you're a bit low on cash, look for one like on Marketplace or something like that. Yeah, and really just start off cheaply that way and expand out, making your own fertilizers and composts and different things to grow your own food at home. Because when we start an edible garden, over time, it's a little bit of expense at the beginning, but over time, it just gets cheaper and cheaper. And, you know, as I said, one way, I've got my list here, so I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. So one way is worm farming. The other way is seed saving. So over time, we save our seeds, get better at that. You can use if you go to craft stores, you can find lots of little boxes and boxes that go inside boxes and airtight things, and they're a really good way to store your seeds efficiently without hunting like I do for hours to find one seed. I've got to find a better system. Saw a craft box system at a farm yesterday and thought that is really good. Might copy that down the line. So just sharing that, and also yeah, grow in bulk and preserve. So grow in bulk and preserve, thinking like a homesteader. We'll talk about that a bit down the line of thinking like a homesteader and a prepper a bit more. Interested to hear about what you're growing. Are you doing anything to save money at home by growing food? What are the plants that you're growing? Are you going for a more high caloric or calorie diet, such as potatoes and things along those lines? Or are you growing herbs, different types of veggies, to save money that way? At the moment, it's really hot here, and the subtropical plants are the ones that are growing best in my yard, such as you saw in the beginning of the video. There was some okra there. We've got some kangkong. We've got some snake beans and some tomatoes and some sweet basil. And then also in the permaculture area, we've got our fruit trees and some moringa and different things like that. And we've got ginger and stuff coming along, but that's still a way off. Sweet potatoes up in the back corner, they just got hammered by an invasion of grasshoppers, which is really, really sad. But I think we might be able to save some slips. We'll see if there's some up there. Didn't have any success with the potatoes, but we're going to start a new grow bag and start out that way to get and grow some calories to save some money as well. So we've got a fair bit going on here. All the herbs, I've got all the herbs growing, everything from lemongrass, well, not all the basils, but got a few different types of basils. And, we've got lemongrass, thyme, parsley, oregano, sage, all that basic stuff that we need to cook with, that are really getting expensive now, over $3 to $4 a bunch. You need to buy 2 bunches generally to get enough to save, like for basil, to make a pesto or a small pesto or a sauce or something. So you're looking at $7 or $8 for 2 bunches. You can do that quite easily in your backyard. And if you're using 2 bunches a week, there you've saved for having a couple of cents of and your time, obviously, the gardening. There you go. You've got 2 bunches of basil straight off the rack. Anyway, let's pull in some of the chat here, and we'll just say hello to a few crew. And Terry Browning. Terry's, hang on, wait out, make sure I've got the right ones coming up first. Somehow it just disappeared. I'm going to start right from the top and scroll down to make sure I haven't missed anyone, and then go from there. And Terry, he's at the top there. G'day, Terry. Terry dropped in and seen me with the missus and had a look around the garden, had a bit of a chat, cup of tea together. Great to see you here, mate. And thanks for becoming a member over at the Buy Me a Coffee page. Really do appreciate that. I'll put a little QR code up later. If anyone wants to also do that, that would be really good. It's really helpful. And for one coffee a month, or the price of a coffee a month, you can support this feed and this channel as this channel grows and as I get better at doing these live streams. And we got DJ here. Hey, DJ, lovely to see you here again. Thank you so much for popping in and saying hi. And we'll just put the QR code up here. Hang on, whoa, it should be here. There we go. It's popped up in the corner there down below. A bit of a slight malfunction there for a second. And so, yeah, that's it. If you want to just pause at the video or whatever, or grab your phone, you can take a little photo of that, and it takes you straight to the Buy Me a Coffee page, where I did another podcast yesterday over there, and slowly, putting some content in there and filling it up. And it's a really great space to be into if you want to just listen to some content. Or I'm not much of a writer, but we might write some posts in there coming up into the future. So anyway, I'll put this up a bit later on again, and we'll just get rid of that and go back to our chat mode here. Okay, back to chat, and hang on, things are going a bit crazy today. There we go. All right, I'm trying to move too fast. That's the thing, right? Trying to move too fast without one of these like live streaming boxes. Okay, here we go. Let's pull this one up. Now, if you've got any questions, we can do some Q&As through this as we're moving through sections. You just put a big Q in front of the question. If you're chatting with anyone, you don't need to put a Q, and then I know you're there chatting in the chat box and making friends, because a lot of people are making some good friends in here, and like-minded souls are turning up, so to speak. All right, Hill Summit Homestead. I dare say that anyone in a city area, urban area, is knee-deep in trouble. I guess it depends all around the world and what part of the globe you are and what you consider to be in trouble. This is a hard one to say, because I'm very lucky. Like, for example, if you own your own home and you're not trapped in this mortgage with the interest rates rising and things like that, then obviously things are a bit easier. But if some of my friends are, it's still in that mortgage system, and obviously the high interest rates, and their salary hasn't gone up with inflation, so it's just gotten more and more expensive. Here's my father here. He speaks on YouTube about retirement and just living retirement, not so much the money side of things, but living in retirement. And he says, any chance of getting those chooks again, Mart? Fresh eggs, always good. We were talking about that the other day, Shirley and I think, it always ends up me just looking after these things. So if the family helps a bit more, then chickens are definitely back on the agenda. But I do get worried that all of a sudden I'm left to do all the work. And a really good pen, really good coop, good system would really make a difference. Anna Gin, growing things that I can dehydrate, because if the grid goes down, we could lose frozen foods. That's a really good point to make. And when we're talking about the grid going down, it can go down so many ways. Like when we had the flood here, I was down I think we had electricity in 4 or 5 days, no electricity. And, it was a bit tricky, but I was prepared. I saw it coming. So I had a prep thing put together. The only thing I didn't have together was some batteries for my torches. So we were going to bed early, and unfortunately, but we had gas cooker sort of thing, the cans. We had lots of dried food. We had things that we could actually boil water, and then so we were able to cook noodles and different things and basic food on top of our gas cooker. And then we were pretty right in that regard. So I'm going to build out my kit again. It's a bit, the kit's basically disappeared, and it needs to come back. All right, so we got other comments here, and we'll pull them across. But that's a really good point. Rick Nielsen, g'day, Marty and Worm family and friends. G'day, Rick. Good to see you here again, mate. And we've got, if I get any names wrong, please forgive me. I do the best I can sometimes. And people have handles like Bone Frostle. I live in a condo and we want a house, but bad timing. So I have some trees started in pots for the future house. 2 berries, 2 blueberries, and a fig tray. Fig tray, look, you can grow a lot of food in pots. I've done that myself. When I was started Marty's Garden, we were just on a small veranda, and go way back to the beginning of videos. They're not great, but it was 13 years ago on YouTube, right? And we were growing a lot of food and feeding all the plants and the gardens, everything through worm farming to save money. Because I was a single dad and I wasn't able to work. My daughter was very, very, very young, and I worked part-time on this channel. And and here we go. Never too late to start prepping. Think inflation. Buy a 12-month supply of pasta. beans, rice, spam, etc. Now, save anywhere from 5 to 300% depending on the product. That is, that is a really good point, because I've been just watching the prices of things go up, and really, like, I think about it, some of the things like canned lentils that I eat, or the lentils in the packets. I make my lentil pies where I go outside and I get different herbs and things from out of the garden and moringa and put it into my lentil pie. And I can make quite a lot of food with that. So I would have probably saved a fair bit of money doing that, buying that in bulk. But little house, so we're sort of a bit trouble storing things. But great point. And we will talk about this down the line of thinking like a homesteader and a prepper, because I think that's the mindset that we really need to get to. And if you've got any tips and tricks, please share them. This is really a community that today, even more so, where people are going to get involved and people are going to come and watch the rerun in here, and they're going to be looking for these tips, tricks, and advice to help them move forward, to save money, and and how we can think like a homesteader or a prepper in that regard. And here we go. So kale is a winner to grow and dehydrate. Never done that, but I got a dehydrator the other day, recently. I think it was my birthday. I got it from Shirley, and so I'm going to start using that. It's just been too hot to turn it on through the night. So as soon as things cool down, I'm going to put the dehydrator on and start doing some things like that. I also really like red vein sorrel. It gets like a seaweed taste. You rub a bit of olive oil, salt and pepper on it. Winner for sure. So thank you for sharing that. Any plants that, any ideas, quick little recipes, those type of things, money savers is what we're working on today, and concepts and ideas and things that we can do that. I'm still learning how to sort of move in this direction myself, and it's very eye-opening. And I'm blessed with this permanent space here now, so I can build this garden out and I can watch it grow, and know that over time, my time and energy, the more I put into it, the more I'm going to get out of it. It's a bit like this YouTube channel. The more I put into it, the more I get out of it. And the more I put into you guys, the more I get to connect with you all. And then we got Terry here, my good friend. I have 2 pots with blueberry trees. They produce plenty of fruit, but if I let them get too dry, they will drop their fruit. Yeah, like any plant, any trees with fruits, they get stressed, they drop their fruit. Also, when they'll get a lot of fruit at the start, and they'll do what they call fruit thinning. So they'll drop a whole lot of fruit and then decide how many they're going to keep. Somehow the plant figures this out itself, and that is pretty common. But yes, if plants get stressed, they will drop their fruit and move along those lines. So thank you, Terry, for sharing that. Now I want to talk about utilities. Here in Australia, unfortunately, all the utilities that were owned by Australia were sold off. And they were so their electricity was sold off, I believe. And then our phone lines with Telstra was we sold off half, and I think they sold off the whole lot now. I think Telstra might be owned by a Singapore company all up. So we can't control our prices so much on certain things. And it's really been unfortunate that recently, the government's made some promises about saving money on utilities. And I'm just seeing my prices going up without going into the whole conversation and everything about that. But I believe that if you could possibly look at solar, a few of my friends are doing solar now, and they're telling me the great results, and they're not stressed out when, like I am sometimes, putting on the air conditioner going, oh, I'm going to get this massive bill. But, I want to be at least a bit comfortable when it's 94 degrees humidity outside, almost like swimming in it. When I was filming the other day, there's like this mist in the sky. And same with Mark from Self-Sufficient Me. I seen it in his video. I noticed the humidity. You can see it in the air, and it puts a different light and stuff into what we're filming. So we got some more comments here, but I think if we can find some ways to save money with electricity, if you've got anything you want to share in here regarding that concept, I think the one good one is just turning your switches off. Don't leave lights on, things like that. Be very conservative the way you use your fridge. Keep it lower instead of turning it right up. Don't leave doors open and things when you've got air conditioners on. Close them up. Lots of things like that. Let's move across to another comment here. And we've got Anna Gin. I did buy a pressure canner and some jars, but I have not tried to do it yet. Canning and drying will be good. Our prices in Canada are completely off the charts for food. I love that, off the charts. We say in Australia, going an old saying, it's off the Richter as well, like the Richter scale. Can't afford much meat. Yeah, so I think a lot of people are actually going for the cheaper cuts, all that type of stuff. More people maybe are buying minces and things than they did before, and really hunting down for the specials and stuff. And I've never done any pressure canning or anything along those lines, but I'm interested in sort of how we grow more things bulk and dehydrate them and save them and use them down the line. We did a whole lot of chilies and some cherry tomatoes, and we got some olive oil. And I dried the cherry tomatoes out in the dehydrator and the chilies, and then some small jars of olive oil, put in some garlic. And I've been using that on pizza and also into like pasta dishes and stuff like that. And so it's really tasty. Those little dried cherry tomatoes, got heaps of them growing on the plants. And yeah, I found that was sort of my first experience of doing that in a very, very long time. I've owned dehydrators before, but yeah, I'd really say I'm a beginner in this area of that, not the growing side, but the storing side of things is definitely new to me, and I'm really enjoying learning it, actually. Let's see what we've got here. I just want to read this one let's have a look at this question here. It says Hill Summit Homestead. So you may be talking to someone else in here. I'm not real sure. Yeah, I do. You are. Actually, you mentioned grid down scenario, but think dollars saving too. 12-volt lighting, fans, and backup fridge. It isn't expensive to set up, but saves you using the grid for everything, and it's a backup power. Now, some of my friends, when we were years ago, they had holiday houses on rivers and things like that, and we had generators. So there was no power there. So you crank the generator on. You had enough fuel. Fuel was fairly cheap in those days, and you could do it that way. And some generators also will send off the batteries now, and you can charge the batteries that way. So a lot of these places, I guess, are going more solar as it becomes more affordable. But yeah, I think, moving towards LED lights, 12-volt lighting. Shirley's got the front yard lit up with solar lights. And you could actually run cheap solar lights into your house from outside if that was the case. So yeah, I think there's lots of ways of really moving forward with it and understanding keeping your house cooler and warmer through insulating certain ways, and opening windows, closing blinds, things like that, keeping the house closed when it's hot in the morning, opening up maybe in the afternoon, so you don't let hot air in and cool air out, and those type of things. Understanding that there's a permaculture system where they actually have a pool in front of the front of the house, and you'll have like big sliding glass doors with curtains. And so in the summertime, you can open those glass doors with sliders, and the wind will hit the water of the pool or the pond and push cool air into the house. And then in the wintertime, the sun's lower, so it actually shoots down and reflects light into the house, and light creates warmth. So it'll light the house up, then into the lights, and also warm the house up a bit more in winter. So things like that, understanding design and stuff like that, if you're moving into new houses, and if you're doing any sort of different landscaping systems, how it can actually change that. So yeah, some really good points being made here, and we can just keep talking about these things. And it's like, if you don't step out and say something or do something or take action, nothing ever happens. So that's why I'm here today, to talk about this, to try and take some action in these areas in my life, as well as to help you guys sort of move through. Now, I'm a horticulturist in agriculture, and so I know how to grow food, but the storing side, as I've mentioned a few times, is the tricky part for myself. Right, so I've got in the last bit of my list here, which we've been covering a bit, is think like a homesteader or a prepper. And it says, what are you guys doing to save and become more self-sufficient? Well, a lot of people have already said that stuff. Now, if you're coming in and watching the rerun, I'd love to hear what you got to say about the reruns in the reruns as well. Well, in the comments down below, because lots of people go down there and read those, and we can add more value into this as well, into this show by doing that, but by the rerun comments. So yeah, any questions, leave them in there. Always happy to get in there and answer. And we've put a lot of videos out in the last week. We're doing live shows, and I'm learning how to interact the live show from inside and outside. So it's a bit of fun. Rick Nielsen, even though the cost of living's become increasingly expensive, I won't be eating bugs. I totally get that. It's interesting that you say that because I've farmed crickets before. As you know, I do farm worms. You don't eat worms. They taste disgusting. But I farmed crickets before, and they were quite smelly. Second time I did it was just for some fish, to feed some fish, to feed a bird that we saved, a magpie. And that second one didn't sort of get smelly at all. But it's very odd. But I know, like in places of Asia, the kids will go out in lunchtime and they'll catch crickets and they'll come back and fry them and stir fry them like we would prawns or something like that. And it's not so much a big deal. Even my wife Shirley said they've done it in their life. And so, yeah, it's something that people do. I still find it a bit odd, and I'm not sure. Maybe I'll try it when I go over to the Philippines. Who knows? I'll give it a go. But I don't know if I'd be out there farming them for protein, unless I think I'd eat lentils before I do that. But anyway, look, if you want to support this show, you can do so via the Buy Me a Coffee page. This really helps the show stay alive. We've got 14 members there now at the moment. We do need to reach, I'd like to get in the next few weeks around 20 in the next 2 weeks. That'd be great. And then we start building on those numbers. And so if you would like to be one of those people, one of those supporters, you can do so for around about a coffee a month, price of that. And it helps this channel stay alive. And I'm producing content over there as well in the way of a podcast currently. And then we'll fill the gallery up with some images and things like that. So, yeah, you can just take a photo of that or snap it with your mobile phone. It'll take you straight there. You can also get my ebook, Starting a Worm Farm, a beginner's guide there as well. All right, so let's keep moving forward. We've got some more chats. I've got a little chat box on the side, and it lights up blue, letting me know that other people are talking. Now, if you've got a question, put a Q in front of it so I know that we've got a question. There's a question there, because sometimes people chat amongst themselves. That we got here. Maybe that's why they cost the crickets. Hang on. One. Here we go. Let's put this one up here. One bug is good to eat. The Moreton Bay bug. Yes. Yes, the Moreton Bay bug. That is a pretty good one. I like it. And then we've got here, Hill Summit Homestead. Prepping equals independence. A lot can be learned from the Earthship community in the USA for off-grid self-sufficiency. I really love what they did. And I think, they got a bit of a bum deal at the beginning, getting started, and I love following the history of it. We can definitely learn a lot from those systems, and it's just unfortunate that in certain areas, certain places, they don't really allow it. But if we're using, say, materials that the council does allow on land, but understand just how these systems work, they're just absolutely brilliant. And, prepping equals independence. I really, really love that. And who knows? I might use that word, that terminology down the line for sure. So we've been running for about 30 minutes now. If you haven't given us a thumbs up, you're getting some value, enjoying being in here, you're listening in, you're getting a few tips and tricks, please consider giving us a thumbs up. We try and keep the numbers above, so thumbs up, than the people watching. We've got 16 people watching currently at the moment. So we're talking about, are we in survival mode for the cost of living? And look, it really depends on where you are in your situation in life. I've been watching some interviews with people on TV and stuff like that, and they definitely are in survival mode. I know that a lot more people, they don't do food stamps in Australia, but we've got other ways of accessing money and getting food and things like that. They've got like a homeless shelter around here, not far where I live, and they do something like that. And you see quite a big line going down the road in the mornings, people lining up to get something to eat for free. And I've noticed it's a bit bigger than it was before. And so, people are struggling, but, we've also lost out in the education side of things of learning how to grow food. And I believe we need to pass this on to our children a lot more. I'm still trying to get my daughter out in the garden, even though she's sort of like turned 17 now, not so interested. But she's just observed over the years what I do. And I'm pretty sure if I wasn't around and she wanted to grow some food, she would get onto it pretty quickly. I think, just that observing over time and seeing you doing it, even though they're not involved so much, really can make a huge difference. And prepping equals independence. I'm looking at that there, and I'd like to type that in to one of my boxes here and just put that in the captions. I think that's a really cool one. I'm going to do that. Let's do that. Prepping. We'll put it in big capitals. Equals. Let's get my spelling right. Independence. So thanks everyone for coming in and watching this show. It's always sort of, for me, and I know other live streamers and things, it's always a bit tricky for us. I wonder if anyone's going to show up. You know what I mean? And when I look on YouTube, it shows 0, no one there. And just like, right, we're just going to start the show anyway. Anyway, prepping equals independence. Let's get this up, and then we'll add it to the thing. We'll put it. Where'd it go? There it go. There it is. Beautiful. Beautiful. If you've got any homesteading quotes or anything like that, please put them in. We'll keep rolling with that. I'd love to hear some type of quotes or anything along those lines. Just keep it within. So it's, we're not going into any R-rated stuff or whatever. But yeah, I think it's really cool, and I love inspirational stuff, to inspire people. And on my channel, sometimes we don't always show exactly the growing, but we show what can be done and achieved, and inspire people that already are growing already, but maybe a bit of depression set in. There's just other things getting in the way, and I'm like encouraging them, get out in the garden and grow some food. And then, all of a sudden, growing more food, saving some money, and working on mental health as well. So let's get back to the chat here and see what else we've got in the box. The little blue box is lit up. And here we go. So there is, I'll read this comment out first, actually. Leggy and B, yes, most people have access to a food bank, but it doesn't always offer good fresh food like we grow at home. Yeah, I agree with that, but actually we're very lucky. The United Church up the road from where I live, every Thursday morning they have a fresh food bank. So how cool is that, eh? I haven't been up to it yet, but I've seen it advertised, and I really need to get up there and have a look one Thursday morning here at Mullumbimby and check that out. The United Church here, they do a lot of really good stuff here in this town. So yeah, bless them for that, and fresh food that they give out. I don't know where they get it from, but they're definitely giving it out. And okay, so I've just put that one out already. If you've got any comments that you'd like to share, now if you've got any gardening questions that you would like to put out there, please fire away and ask them. Put a queue there. Love to help you with anything that you may have. You may even have a worm farming question, something along those lines. Excuse me. I need a quick little drink of water. A lot of talking going on here when you run these shows by yourself. I'll wait for some questions to come up. Otherwise, if not, we will move on and finish up with this live stream. I was able to end up getting a video out this morning for the grow table. I said at the beginning of this one, because I recorded it before that, I was shooting, and then when I got back, because I don't have a sound guy, the sound was out and there was a hissing through the camera, and I lost like an hour's worth of footage. So we had to go out and shoot some other stuff again. And so I did the video for this one early, and then I went out and shot the grow table and then released the grow table video later. So it's about awesome companion plant for putting with your fruit trees, and it's also an edible, and you can also use it for, get this, as a fertilizer. So if you can guess what that one is before, if you've already watched the video, let me know in the comments box down below. And yeah, it's a bit of a question for you. So it's a companion plant for fruit trees. It's edible, but a lot of people don't recommend eating it. It's very highly nutritious. I believe it's high in protein, and you can make a liquid tea fertilizer from it, and it's extremely fertile. All right, Kimmy Mac, let's get to this question here. I'll wait to see if anyone can guess that little quiz. Do you bait and move your worms to harvest the castings? I do at times when I want to grab worms and move them into, say, another farm or into an underground system or somewhere where I want to transfer them. But when I'm doing a whole farm, I've got a whole system that I was taught by a professional, Permy Pete, and I've got that in the Worm Wranglers members area, and you can watch that video and it shows you exactly how I do it, exactly how the pros do it. And it's something that I just don't create video content on it because it's like my piece that I put in there for in the Worm Wranglers members area. But you can bait it, but this one is whole emptying the farm, collecting and harvest the professional system. So yeah, it's on the channel. You'll see a join or a join button around somewhere, and you can do that. And scaling on citrus. Scale on citrus fruit and guava. I've sprayed multiple times with spray, but I got from Bunnings, but they come back with no time at all. Well, the ants are just bringing them back. So if the ants have got them somewhere else, they move them back up to the spot and just drop them back there and get them going again. So you should be using, I think it's a pyrethrum white oil for scale, I believe. But the best one of all, and I spoke about this in a recent video to do with pest control, is the mighty lady beetle. And it was in the companion planting video that I did recently, a live show. So if you can go back and watch that, and we discussed that more deeply about how plants protect themselves and how they send out pheromones and attract predators and stuff like that. So yeah, the ants. So you've got to solve the ant problem basically, and because the ants farm them. And we got an answer here, and DJ got it right. Comfrey. Yep, that's what the video is about. It's about comfrey, growing it underneath fruit trees and as a companion and improving soil. So yeah, comfrey is an amazing one. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out when you head over. Check it out later. It just got launched this morning, and there's a lot there to learn from that. So congratulations, DJ. I need a little. My other software before used to have a little bell, a little horn, and go doo, 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 sort of thing. I don't think we've got that on here, as far as I know. I'm just looking in my software here. Let's see what it's got. Background music. Let's see here. I think we've got some something here. Let's have a look. See if it plays it. Because I'm still learning how to use this stuff. Oh no, that's love music. I don't think that's the one. What about this one? Is it? Can you hear it? Oh, there we go. We need some sounds, don't we? Like some bells and horns and things like that to make it a bit more fun. But anyway, who knows? I might find something there, and we can use along the lines to do things like that. But congratulations, DJ. You got it right. All right. So if you've got any more questions or anything more to add, please fire away. I won't be going any longer than 45 minutes today on this show. So we've got around about 5 minutes left on the box, on the ticker, might say. And then we will be talking about saying goodbye and things like that, and getting ready for the afternoon here. I've got some things that I need to do as well, and I'm sure you do too. Yes, we have shocking ants. Shocking. Yeah, well, that's what's breeding them. They'll move the scale and the aphids around. And there's a reason for that, because the scale shares a sweet sap, and the ants eat it, and then the ants will protect and like the army for them. So they share The scale shares the sap, which is the sugar flow for the ants, and then the ants protect the plant, protect the scale. So yeah, you just got to really get onto that ants thing. All right, duck. And one thing, tansy. Tansy is a herb that ants despise big time. So it's another good one to put around the bottom of fruit trees and things. Ducks and geese are great bug munchers, critters. They sure are. Yeah, definitely. I don't have any here at the moment though. And my chickens last time didn't really take. They didn't know how to eat grasshoppers, which is really odd, right? The magpies will eat the grasshoppers here. And yeah, well done, GJ. Rick Nielsen. I'm led to believe comfrey works better on the drip line of citrus trees. Yes, well, the drip line is where the actual roots will come out, right, and meet to the edge. So, a lot of trees, especially with citrus, is the roots will finish on the drip line there, and so basically they're bringing the nutrients up. So it's really the leaves that as they're breaking down, and so they're bringing the nutrients locked down and bringing them to the top, and as the leaves are breaking down, bring the nutrients back up, which I explain in that video. So I don't know if that's so much the case. Maybe in certain areas where they've got different climates, there's a better sun position. But here where it's so hot, we grow them further underneath. So mine's about 1/3 of the way out at the moment. And remember, comfrey roots spread right out. So I do talk about that more in the video for sure. But if you were to make it into a tea, you put it all over the place. How about just a mock trumpet for you? It'll be perfect. Yeah, maybe I can download something, put it in here. I'm still learning how to use all that stuff. Okay, I've got a dog out the back though, so I can't plant tansy. The tansy makes them green, or is it poisonous for them? I'm not really sure about that. But pity that the dogs can't scare away the ants, right? All right, so anyway, we're into 42 minutes, 16 people watching. If you haven't given us a thumbs up, please do so. It really does help the channel. It shows YouTube that you've enjoyed you've got some satisfaction. They've got a satisfaction algorithm as well, believe it or not. And yeah, it just really helps the channel overall. And if you're enjoying the content that I've been putting out through the week, we're running a whole lot of stuff for this month, for the month of February. And via that, so the channel doesn't have any sponsors or anything like that. And really, sponsors are what keeps channels going. But we don't have one. So you guys are the sponsors really for this channel. If you want to help us out, you can do that by the Buy Me a Coffee. We've got a little link here, the QR code. You can put your phone on it. You can go there that way. And it's around about $5. It's $5 a month if you want to become a member there, or you can leave a donation. It really does help. But we're trying to build up the membership there. We've got about 14 members at the moment. And as we build it up, we can really see on a monthly thing that the stability, instead of relying on the YouTube sort of thing so much. We also I also stream over in Facebook as well on the Marty's Garden Show page. So people will be seeing that there, and these streams are going over to there as well. I've just been predominantly on YouTube, but I stream in both places now at the moment. So please say goodbye to your friends in here, and say goodbye to me as well at the same time. I like pulling it across in the chat box there, and just giving you a wave and saying goodbye at the same time, and keeping it really interactive. I hope you've got some good value out of this live show, and that you're making some friends and things like that. We have our permanent show Saturday 8:30 Sydney time, and I'm working on making these streams better. We're doing more streams sort of through the weeks, so you can go onto the channel and have a look and see what's coming up. YouTube doesn't always notify you, even though I put it out a couple of hours before. So yeah, go and pop over the Marty's Garden channel and check it out, what's coming up next. And so you don't miss anything that way, because I get a lot of people say, oh, I missed the show. But I do try and put a few hours notice out before each one coming up. And I'm going to be shooting some more videos as well. All right, so let's pull up some of these last comments, and we will head off. It's poisonous. I bought some, then looked it up. Stupid me. Okay, yeah, right. So it's used predominantly as a dye. I've never known it to really be a food. Thank you, DJ. Awesome to see you here again. Thanks for the support. And we've got Kimmy Mack. Thanks and bye. Bye to you too. DJ, God bless you all. Bless you and your whole family. Yeah, sending the blessings and love to you. Hill Summit, stay safe, prep up. God bless. God bless to Hill Summit Homestead. Thank you so much for dropping in, sharing your value here and your passion here. And yeah, it's just been absolutely brilliant. And Terry Browning, good show. Bye, Marty. And bye to also the great viewers. Look forward to the next live show. Thanks, Terry. And again, thank you for being a supporter over at the Buy Me a Coffee page. I'll just put the QR code up one more time before everyone heads off to give the opportunity, if you haven't already, to become a member over there. And I'll keep working on, if the members keep growing and we get the numbers that we need, I'll keep working on getting these live streams. We'll look at problems we can solve. We won't always be staying on these super trends that the YouTubes are running on. We're looking at good, solid advice coming naturally from me and from the community. In any way we can all help each other, I think it's just absolutely brilliant. And I saw a thing from Gary V. He said live streaming is the new thing for 2024. Just watch that. And he's like a famous YouTuber that predicts things into the future that people are going to be doing online. And he predicted the TikTok thing way before it came on. And he's saying live streaming is going to be big in 2024, apparently. Well, I'm yet to see that, but I'm hoping that it will be. And thank you all for your time. Remember, you can support me here via the Buy Me a Coffee page. And you can also pick up the worm farming book over there if you want to learn more about worm farming really, really fast. All right, I'm going to head off now. God bless you all. Have an awesome morning, afternoon, whatever time it is at your place. Thanks again for watching, and lots of love to you and the family. God bless, and remember to love thy neighbor. Bye, family.